Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. Welcome. So I kind of wanted to take a look at the recent comments by the developers. We touched on this in the last video, but I wanted to focus on that here in detail because it basically confirms everything I've been saying, guys, surrounding this development team. They do not have the capacity to develop this game. I think that's clear enough in the severe lack of output, the lack of real substantial content, namely with the maps, the quality of the maps, the sheer scale of everything is significantly smaller, from sandbox, size of the maps, weapon arsenal, vehicles, etc., than what we were getting over a decade ago at this point. So that's really concerning, and nothing seems to be adding up when you actually look at it, because we've got 4 to 5 studios, 100 plus developers backed by a multi-billion-dollar company, yet somehow their output is significantly smaller than the teams we had over a decade ago. That really isn't adding up to me. But the deeper you go, the more you start to realize the problem is DEI and the structure of the development teams. But more on that in a moment. In a recent interview with 2 producers in DICE, again, this is all coming from Battlefield Bulletin, so you can go and check out their page. Battlefield Studios say they're aware of the community feedback and the lack of maps, bigger maps in Battlefield 6. Although neither Phil Jarrett or Kit Eklof confirmed whether subsequent seasons would have 2 or 3 maps as standard, they did note that each season would feature hardware, vehicles, guns, and gameplay additions. Right, so 2 to 3 maps per season is the bare minimum, considering those maps are dropping every other month in the season. That's already less content than what you were getting over a decade ago with BF3, BF4, BF1, etc. Games which were striving for innovation. Now they're currently struggling to carry out this strategy when you actually look at it, because some of those maps are planned remakes. We know about Propaganda, we know about the Golmud remake. Maps which aren't exactly difficult to remake. They aren't the most iconic maps, and the headline piece of content itself could be split into several other maps to inflate the numbers. So, for example, I claimed Hagenthal Base in Season 2 is just another section of Contaminated. You can see the floor plans, it's fucking tiny. It takes place on the same map, and Operation Auger could also be another section of Contaminated. At best, heavily inspired by that map, because it practically looks identical in some of the images here. The season's model itself means 1 map every month, which again is simply not going to maintain engagement. Content is split, it's disconnected, it shares no cohesive theme. This is drip feed bullshit. Players are going to check in, look around, and leave. We see that feedback and hear it loudly, and we're really happy that people just want more of the stuff that we can provide. You see, that's the problem, because you can't provide the content. You can't provide larger maps. 95% of this game is CQC heavy, with a high octane focus, apart from Fort Linden pulled from RedSec and the Firestorm remake, which still remains to be the largest map in the fucking game right now. Instead, we were told to temper our expectations, despite the fact that they claimed our seasons will have more content than any other Battlefield game ever. So there seems to be a bit of a contradiction going on here. More maps is, of course, something that we will look more into, but also maps are one of the most time-intensive things that we build. We'll need some more time. Yeah, so I understand that maps are time-intensive. I studied as an architect, so I know exactly what it takes to build certain environments. And yeah, that's all bullshit. We've currently got people in the community building large-scale environments as we speak with Portal. We were also getting larger content both in map size and sandbox items, equipment, skins, camos, etc. over a decade ago with the old guard, on a consistent, punctual basis. I'm not understanding these excuses, guys. What we're doing on top of that, like we see in Season 2, is more maps and bigger maps. Yeah, I don't see that in Season 2, actually. It is literally just 1 map. You couldn't even get the fucking bike on that map. Despite being advertised, it's not in the map. It's sure it's shit not coming in the 2nd month, because that's a meat grinder map. What we're doing on top of that, like we see in Season 2, is more maps. We need to make sure that the maps hit the quality and match the expectations of what the players want. We're already testing Golmud Railway early on labs right now. So that's a step in the right direction. So you finally addressed the bigger maps problem and the lack of content, only to provide the Gold Mud remake as the fucking solution. This is not the right direction at all. This is straight fucking laziness. Eklof also said that maps start very early in development, so sometimes it's hard to go back too far and change things, but we are able to course correct if we need to do something. When it comes to maps, we hear the feedback loud and clear, as you said, on the larger maps. Yes, you hear the issue, and there seems to be absolutely no real initiation to address the problem. Again, if I was the director, the CEO, whatever, I would strategically organize my 3 studios to collectively produce more maps for the multiplayer, 2 studios focused on skins, equipment, and weapons, etc. That's all you need to fucking do right now. You know, what we're talking about are dozens, if not hundreds, of employees in one studio. They should have the manpower. Recycle, expand on environments from the campaign if you have to. I'm not understanding this fucking stupidity. I don't know if this is a separate interview or what, but the producer's comments get even worse. Producer Phil Jarrett says Battlefield 6 Season 2 is the foundation for future seasons, and believes it will bring back players who may have left after Season 1's extension. Yeah, Season 2 is absolutely skeletal. There is practically nothing here. One headline map, and the other 2 maps are possibly sections of that first map. It's the same fucking location. And this statement is telling you this is what they plan to do for the rest of the fucking game. This is absolutely unacceptable. Is this all you can do? Again, one map possibly broken into several other maps to inflate the numbers. And remakes in the future. Come on, like, these progressives are creatively tapped out. They don't have the endurance. They don't have the stamina. They don't have the testosterone to do this job. So can you leave, please? Season 2 is definitely bigger than what we have done in Season 1. Season 2 is provably smaller than Season 1. What the fuck? We have the maps. We think they're going to be quite strong. We have the additional gameplay mechanics. We have popular vehicles coming back, like the Little Bird. There's a whole new addition in Red Sect itself as well. Listen, the Little Bird is not real content that should have been in the game day one. I mean, tell me you're not a fucking Battlefield player without telling me at this point. Limited time events for Red Sect no one gives a shit about. Associate producer Kit Eklof echoed that sentiment. If you're really a diehard Battlefield fan, there are so many things that are in the Battlefield DNA that we're adding to Battlefield 6 here, which I think it's really, really exciting. On top of that, some innovations as well. I think it's great. Yeah, there's so many things that are in the Battlefield DNA that we're adding to Battlefield 6. That's basically telling you that they're taking from the past and pulling it into Battlefield 6, because they can't deliver a full package day one, and they can't deliver unique, consistent content without robbing from something from the past in some way. That's not content strategy. That's not real work. That's not innovation. That's fucking lazy. And this whole shit about the Battlefield DNA, yeah, that's a term I coined in my videos, and it gradually started making its way into the discourse, and I'm not sure these people understand what the fucking DNA even is at this point. When asked if he believes Season 2 is the best season the team has made yet, Jarrett argued that it was the strongest. No, it's the fucking weakest season by far. Does the perfect Battlefield season even exist? Everyone sat together and said, this is really, really strong. We want to use Season 2 as a kind of foundation going forward. This is the level we need to hit. We hope that the players think the same, but I think this is going to be the strongest season yet. This is what I've been saying for months now, guys. Go back and watch my content. These progressives, from their perspective, are doing the best they possibly can. To them, this is A-tier shit right here.
Teams have been working so hard on this for so long.
So we don't have the capacity.
But we know, and we can see, that their best is bullshit. This is the bare minimum, guys. And I'm fucking tired of being gaslit by these idiot retards. They do not have the capacity, they do not have the testosterone to do this job. There is no strength here. Nothing about this is really strong. It's skeletal. Again, it's missing maps, large-scale maps, vehicles, equipments, weapons, which should have been in the game in day one, actually. Again, there's no attack boats, because They broke the water physics in this game. Again, there's no bike in Season 2 when it was clearly advertised. They're just now getting in the little bird. You know, vehicle sandbox in this game is incredibly fucking tiny. Now get ready for the prime time headline excuse right here. Watch this. Time and resources. Those are the biggest obstacles which Battlefield Studios face to make more than 2 maps per season. Despite DICE's producer Alexia Christoph says Battlefield Studios would love to create way more maps in Battlefield 6. Yeah, don't give me this bullshit, because again, 5 studios backed by a multi-billion-dollar company, and you don't have the time or resources. Can you give me a fucking break, please? In terms of cadence, we would love to create way more maps, but we're just trying to kind of bring things to players as we can, as quickly as we can build them. Is this as fast as you can go, love? Like honestly, 2 maps, if that, per 3 months. And it's not real content, it's heavily borrowing from something else from the past. Possible remakes, a headline map split into several other maps again. We're talking May, June, July are just 2 map remakes, leaving players stuck with the launch maps for basically half a year at this point. Over half a year. Christophe also said that limited time modes are here to stay in order to satisfy a wide variety of people playing Battlefield. But they're not going to shut the door if they see something that players like really resonate with. Operations mode should have been in the game day one. People migrate to Conquest, Rush, Breakthrough. Those are signature modes that you need to invest in, not modes which are guaranteed to resonate with no one. Drop the additional noise, focus on your main modes and the lack of large-scale maps, the lack of vehicles, etc. We have such a wide variety of people playing Battlefield. We have the hardcore fans that have been playing for years, that know and love it, and then we've got a bunch of new players that have come in, so we're trying to have people experience their different content and play different stuff. It has been important to us. But in terms of things like limited time modes, we listen to community feedback a lot. If we see something that players like really resonate with, we're not going to shut the door and say, okay, well, that's done. I'm pretty sure they were already trying to capitalize on FOMO before the backlash, and I have no idea what the fuck she's even talking about. I'm just exhausted at this point from all this bullshit. You know, keep in mind, this is the same woman who told you to pick the gender of the class you want to play as, reinforcing the point that these people have no fucking clue what they're doing, actually. And, you know, this is the current sentiment surrounding the game, guys. Lots of prominent channels with something to say. I honestly believe I was the first person to say all of this shit. Again, please go back and watch my content. Community saw my shit, started raiding it, and shortly after that, I started gaining some traction, and then it was as if I was being suppressed for talking about the obvious DEI in the studio. Again, premium, we should have gone back to that a long time ago. That was one of my main talking points. And then obviously detailing a lot of the problems with the game itself. And that's where I kind of wanted to touch on the studio culture, the highly toxic subject no one wants to speak on, because they'd rather jump through hoops than address this one elephant in the room.
So I'm going to make some broad assumptions here. Why is it that Battlefield 6 so far has only had 2 maps per season? Let's throw a few ideas out there. Is it that they didn't listen to feedback from the last 7 years and they just failed to plan accordingly? Is it Frostbite engine? Historically, developers have been outspoken about how difficult the Frostbite engine is to work with. Is it that EA can't hire enough map makers? 2 maps per season is by design, and they're just getting it very wrong. Battlefield 6 wasn't really ready for release in October 2026, and the devs needed more time to work on the base game and seasonal content before launch. Whatever it isn't enough for the players to stay engaged.
Yeah, that's practically every single channel, guys. They cannot seem to connect the dots. Again, backed by a multi-billion-dollar company, 5 studios working on a AAA game. Yeah, there is no excuses, guys. This is a problem with the development team. If you've been following me long enough, you'd know this was the primary argument used to justify the state of Halo Infinite. That game was supposed to be the biggest game of the year, was radically the opposite to that, and they went ahead and blamed the Faber tools, when in fact the tools were fixed and working with video evidence, bro. But the devs, they got the community to literally build the game with Forge mode because of their incompetence. And the franchise is literally dead because of that developer who ran it through the fucking ground. Out of sheer incompetence, update after update, everything from quality to scale was significantly reduced. because these people simply do not have the capacity. Battlefield is in a very similar predicament. They've already featured Portal content and it looks terrible. No offense. I know this dude must have put a lot of effort into this map, but you know, I've paid for a AAA game. I expect to see Battlefield, not Minecraft. So we have to be careful with this kind of rhetoric entering the discussion. These are just some of the excuses used to justify the lack of content in Battlefield 6, when the real problem is absolutely clear to me. It's that radical difference in studio culture making the game. We used to have a solid development team creating badass, cohesive, amazing games, constantly pushing forward, innovating. Games were getting bigger in scale, sandbox environments, etc. We had Levolution, you know, the list goes on, guys. Marketing was completely focused on masculinity. And then DEI rolled through and pushed all the men out, and that's exactly what it was supposed to do. It was meant to install the left into this environment under the guise of inclusion. Okay, so that's the issue, guys. No other channel is going to speak on this problem because they're compromised. They all have relationships with the developers, they have sponsorships, they have exclusive access, etc. They've been doing this for over a decade at this point. Okay, they're not going to sacrifice that income. This is their full-time income to actually make any meaningful change. Okay, if you speak about this issue, this fat DEI vagina will cancel you. It's as simple as that.
You're some kind of big, fat smart bug, aren't you?
Again, we went from mostly male patriarchal hierarchy to a progressive, left-leaning, liberal joke, boasting a 52% representation of women in the company. And that has a significant impact on how the game shapes up. You're seeing elements of that over and over again. They're making fucking cute Valentine's Day posts, giving off 2042 vibes. Customization is a fashion show, to say the least. Gender is now locked to a character, forcing you to play as females, and the game looks very female dominated at times, not reflective of the real world. This is what people call wokeness. It's coming from this group of people. And this isn't exclusive to DICE, it's literally every other studio, bro. Like everything. The Coalition, 343 Industries, Halo Studios, Microsoft, EA, DICE, Call of Duty, Activision, Ubisoft, fucking Star Wars, you name it. This is why everything has gone to shit. It's because of this geopolitical issue. It's not greedy corporations, it's not lack of time, it's not lack of resources, it's not because they're secretly working on the next game or some shit. They actually have more time, more resources, more financial backing than we used to have. Again, fucking 5 studios working on the game. No, this is the problem. It's these people. This group need to get the fuck out. Anyway, let me know if this resonates. If anyone tries to present some stupid argument with no evidence in the comments, let them present their case, challenge it, and watch it collapse. I'll see you in the next one.